We are very thankful to Koushik Datta for letting us be in the NASA Aeronautics Research Institute's conference room here. Downstairs is the NASA Lunar Science Institute, which is now the Solar System Exploration Research Virtual Institute. They just renamed themselves. But aeronautics is a huge part of what NASA does in general, the NASA Aeronautics and Space Administration, and NARI is one of our new virtual institutes that is dedicated to that. So Koushik is going to tell us a little bit about NARI.
Thanks, Jessica. So you heard about NARI, and what we are in essence is looking for innovative concepts which will have a huge impact on aeronautics. That's what we really look for. So think of us as a venture capital fund. You know, we just give small amounts of money, and we try and get concepts from within NASA and outside of NASA, and try to get them within, give them the money to develop it and have it form a concept that will be developed either by the aeronautics industry outside or by NASA inside. So we have two funds, a Learn Fund, which is for the people outside, the general public, and then a Seedling Fund, which is for internal to NASA. So we give about, so we get ideas from the public and we do outreach, so we get the universities, the small businesses, large businesses, and even citizen inventors, you know. Well, that's a different story. So anyway, so when we do a solicitation, we get about 200 new ideas that they want. We narrow it down to about 20 of them that we fund. We give about $150,000 to $200,000. And they work on proof of concept, do all the calculations or do some tests on the labs to show that it'll work. And then at the end of the year, we narrow it down to maybe a third of them, so 6 or 7 get a little more money, 18 months to work on it. And you know, this 2.5 years for giving them money for a concept which is at a very low level is really nothing. Most aeronautics concepts take, you know, anywhere from 15 to 20 years to get onto an aircraft. So that's us. So what are the types of concepts that we have funded that you just, you know? So one of them is, that I wanted to tell you about is an aerogel antenna. Normally you see these antennas that are protuberances, usually metal. This is a very lightweight material that will be form-fitting so that there'll be less drag on the aircraft, and you can have many more antennas. So it's a cool concept that can also apply in the automotive industry. De-icing of icing on helicopter blades is an important one, and so we funded a concept that uses basically the centrifugal force of the rotating rotors. It pumps air through through the rotor blades, and it breaks up the ice. So that's the concept, and they're working on it. Hope it works. Cool idea. You know, as we go into higher and higher efficient engines, these run at higher temperatures. And any cracks that form are very dangerous, and so we are funding concepts that are self-healing in the sense that if there are crack forms, they'll have the self-healing material will flow into the cracks and repair itself. So again, another idea that's far out in the future, we just are starting it out. Electric aviation is something that you have heard of, but batteries are very heavy, hard, and they add weight, and so it's really a problem for our aircraft. So we are funding concepts called supercapacitors, which will hopefully have as high an energy density as batteries, much lighter in weight. Again, hope it pays off. We hope that, you know, out of all these that we fund, maybe one of them will pay off per year or something like that. We haven't yet done enough of them to see how many of them pay off. An idea that comes, so we sometimes get ideas from different fields. So one PI, she proposed and has developed a sensor based on the housefly's eye to measure aircraft wing deflections, and that will be useful in future aircraft that will have much more flexible wings, and you have to control them. Another one that I want to talk about was, you all remember Captain Skullenberger. He landed the aircraft on the Hudson very safely. So someone proposed to us that, hey, we will automate it. We'll automate that type of reasoning and have it available for UAVs and aircraft so that you look at, you know what the surrounding is, you decide which is a safe place to land, and you know, land so that also that you don't hurt the flying people in the aircraft. So we are funding that. So we haven't worked long enough to have seen any of our ideas yet go out of, we have been only functioning for a year, and we need 2.5 years to see any of our ideas finish. So we are there, and all of these ideas you see are in aeronautics, but some of them generally apply, transcend aeronautics and go into the general area. So I think that's pretty much it, but I want to leave you with the last thing, that if you have a cool idea in aeronautics, you know who to call. The NASA Aeronautics Research Institute. And I really do hope that you guys have ideas and you just write to us, and we have solicitations all through the year, and if it's a good idea, we'll definitely fund it.
Knowing about it means that I'll think about it.
Huh?
Knowing that there's a fund means that I'll think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, no, because like a lot of times you think about, oh, why would I even bother? Because there's no way to get that funded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, that's a really good idea. Well, I don't have $100,000 to test,
Yeah.
aerogels and cracks on ailerons, for example.
Yep, that's right. That's the whole point. I mean, we get applications even from people in industry, like the Boeings and the General Electrics, where you think they are large corporations, that they have money to fund their ideas, but they don't.
Yeah.
And so they apply to us. So.
Like, here's an obvious one. Why aren't there cameras for the cockpit that aim back at the engines? Because the pilots can't see the engines from the cockpit. So, they've got glass there, so they should just be able to say, I want to see the state of my aircraft, of all the blind spots. And why doesn't that work? Well, there's 100 reasons why.
Yeah. So that's actually a really good point. In all our aerospace vehicles, when we don't know something about, when there is a large uncertainty about it, we have a sort of a rule that says that we should always have cameras pointed in that direction,
Yeah.
so that you can see what happens.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, it's unstable when this happens. Well, there's flutter that's happening, but you can't see it because it's so, I'm using that as an example.
Yeah. That's a good point. I like it.
Cool. So any other quick questions for Koushik?
Who composes your team here internally? That sounds like you evaluate external and internal business plans, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So who's on your team? What various roles are being played?
So we as an institute are just very small, just like 5 people. We use the rest of NASA, the people who are employed at NASA, and we bring their subject matter expertise. So if we see a proposal in aerodynamics area, we ask for aerodynamics experts to evaluate it. Because we just don't have enough knowledge to go across the various disciplines, any one of us. So we really need the other people.
Yeah.
So that's how we get them. We have, you obviously know there are 10 NASA centers, but most of the aeronautics is done in 4 centers, and so we reach out to them and ask them to help us out. And they're very good at it, helping us out.
I can imagine.
That's here, Dryden, Ohio, and where?
Yeah, so Glenn and Langley in Virginia.
What kind of ranges, dollar amounts are you talking about?
So for the first phase, we typically give between 150,000 to 200,000, and then we go up to 350, 400,000 for the second phase.
We have relatively high altitude balloons at 2 kilometer range, and we're aiming for 7 kilometers, tethered to the ground with robots climbing back and forth. We're talking to the Navy about putting sensors on the string for weather monitoring. Is that in the range, or are you looking for something specifically on an aircraft?
No, it doesn't have to be on an aircraft, because we get a lot of ideas even on, like wind turbines, which sort of use the same field. So the main things that we would look for is how innovative is it? Is it something that is just, it's easy to apply, and well, then we are not looking for that idea. We're looking.
The Navy has never seen it before.
Yeah. I can't speak to that specific idea because I don't know the details behind it. But that's what I'm trying to emphasize. If it's a very innovative idea that we think will have a large impact, those are the ones that we're looking for.
Okay, cool. I'd like to talk to you about that.
Anytime. So,
Thank you.
will they all have my email addresses so I don't have to give them?
I can definitely, and I will send out something that has the website for NARI.
Oh, okay,
For sure,
cool.
and that gives information on
Yeah.
applying and everything else in the world.
Cool.
So thank you very much, we really appreciate it.
Sure.